The MacBook Pro has always been the symbol of Apple's power and innovation. Every few years, we see a major redesign that changes what a laptop can do. In late 2025, Apple is expected to release the M5 MacBook Pro, and the excitement is already building. This is not a small upgrade. It feels like the biggest leap since the first Apple Silicon MacBooks. Let's start with the core, the M5 chip. This is Apple's first MacBook chip built on the 2-nanometer process. That number might sound technical, but what it really means is simple: more power, less energy. With this process, Apple can pack more transistors into the chip, boosting both speed and efficiency. The result? Around 30 to 40% faster CPU performance compared to the M4. That's a massive jump. Tasks that used to feel heavy, like video editing, 3D modeling, or advanced AI workloads, will now feel smooth and effortless. But speed is only part of the story. The efficiency gains are just as important. Apple is aiming for up to 25 hours of battery life on a single charge. That's not just a small improvement. That's a game changer. Imagine working all day, editing videos, running apps, streaming, and still having power left by the evening. For students, creators, and professionals, this kind of endurance removes one of the biggest pain points of laptops: constant charging anxiety. Design is also evolving. The M5 MacBook Pro will be slightly slimmer, with thinner bezels that give more space for the display. The body may adopt a new space titanium finish. Unlike the glossy finishes of the past, this one will be more subtle, sleek, and durable. It's built not only to look good, but also to handle daily use without showing wear too quickly. The keyboard and trackpad are getting attention too. Apple is rumored to include a new Force Touch trackpad. This means even more accuracy and precision when navigating, editing, or multitasking. For developers, designers, and editors, that kind of control can make a real difference. The keyboard itself will be refined, keeping Apple's focus on a smooth and reliable typing experience. Now, let's look at the display. Apple is expected to bring mini LED technology across all models of the M5 MacBook Pro. This display will run at 120 Hz with ProMotion, making everything feel fluid and responsive. Scrolling through text, editing video timelines, gaming, it all feels smoother with high refresh rates. The colors will be brighter, the contrast deeper, and the overall experience closer to professional-grade monitors. This isn't just an upgrade for entertainment. For creative professionals working in photo and video editing, color accuracy is critical, and this display will deliver. Connectivity remains strong. Apple is expected to keep MagSafe charging, HDMI, and the SD card slot. These ports have been essential for pros, and Apple knows it. At the same time, the M5 MacBook Pro is likely to adopt Wi-Fi 7, giving faster and more stable internet speeds. For remote work, cloud computing, or multiplayer gaming, this is a big leap forward. External display support could also reach up to 8K, making it ideal for creators working with ultra-high-resolution workflows. Now let's talk about the camera system. For years, the MacBook's camera was considered a weak point. That changes with the M5. Apple is expected to include a new 18-megapixel front camera. With a wide f/2.4 aperture, it captures more light, which means clearer images in low-light conditions. Video calls, streaming, online meetings, all will look sharper and more professional. There's also talk of 18x optical zoom capabilities, which is unusual for a laptop. This could mean advanced camera setups that bring new possibilities for creators. Apple isn't just improving the camera for casual use. They're aiming to make the MacBook Pro a tool for serious content creation. But the M5 isn't just about raw specs. It's also about intelligence. Apple is enhancing the neural engine, the part of the chip dedicated to AI tasks. This means faster voice recognition, smoother translation, more efficient photo and video editing, and better natural language processing. As AI tools become more common, the M5 MacBook Pro will be ready to handle them directly on the device, without always needing cloud processing. That makes workflows faster and more private. The tracking system is another highlight. Using advanced AI, machine learning, and Apple's TrueDepth camera technology, the M5 MacBook Pro, can track gestures, movements, and even facial recognition, unlocking your Mac with just a glance, navigating with hand motions, using biometric authentication for security. This creates a more natural and seamless interaction between the user and the machine. Combined with sensors like the accelerometer, gyroscope, and magnetometer, the M5 MacBook Pro can understand movement in 3D space. That opens the door for new types of applications, from creative design tools to gaming. When it comes to memory and storage, users will have options. The M5 MacBook Pro will likely offer 16 gigabytes or 32 gigabytes of RAM, with faster and more efficient LPDDR4X modules. For storage, we're looking at high-speed SSD starting at 256 gigabytes, with options for much higher capacities. These drives won't just hold data. They'll read and write at blazing speeds, cutting down on loading times and making large projects easier to handle. Battery and charging are also seeing upgrades. With the efficiency of the 2nm process and a 25-hour battery capacity, this MacBook Pro is set to deliver the longest battery life ever in an Apple laptop. Charging through MagSafe remains quick and safe. For professionals who travel or work remotely, this combination of endurance and reliability is priceless. So let's pause for a recap. The M5 MacBook Pro brings a 2nm M5 chip with 30 to 40% faster CPU performance and stronger GPU power. A redesigned body with thinner bezels, a spaced titanium finish, and a refined keyboard and trackpad. A 120Hz mini LED display with promotion. Wi-Fi 7, MagSafe, HDMI, and SD card slot. A new 18-megapixel front camera with optical zoom. Advanced AI with an upgraded neural engine. Gesture tracking and Face ID-like recognition. RAM options up to 32 gigabytes, storage starting at 256 gigabytes SSD, and a massive 25-hour battery life. This is not just another update. It's a reimagined MacBook Pro design for the future of work, creativity, and performance. And everything we've covered so far is only the first half of the story that we've already explored the design, power, and features of the upcoming M5 MacBook Pro. Now it's time to look at the larger story. Apple doesn't just launch a new laptop. Every move it makes is part of a long-term strategy. The M5 MacBook Pro is more than a product. It's a statement. Let's begin with timing. Apple is expected to release the M5 MacBook Pro in October 2025. That date isn't random. Apple often chooses October for Big Mac launches because it positions the product right before the holiday season. By doing this, they capture early adopters, professionals planning upgrades, and a huge wave of students and creators who want the newest machine before the year ends. The release window also aligns with Intel's and AMD's cycles. By late 2025, both chip makers will have released their latest processors for laptops. Apple wants to show that its 2nm M5 chip is not only competitive but ahead. Apple Silicon was already shocking when it arrived with the M1. But the competition has been catching up. Intel's Meteor Lake and AMD's Ryzen AI chips have raised the bar. The M5 is Apple's answer. It says, we are still in control of the high-performance, high-efficiency laptop market. Now let's talk pricing. Rumors suggest that Apple will keep the base price close to today's lineup. That means around $1,999 for the 14-inch Pro, with higher prices for the 16-inch model and upgraded configurations. Some may hope for cheaper entry points, but Apple rarely lowers prices when introducing cutting-edge technology. Instead, they deliver more power for the same cost. This is how Apple balances innovation with consistency. At first glance, $2,000 might seem high, but Apple knows its audience. Professionals, developers, designers, and content creators rely on these machines to earn money. For them, a laptop is not just a purchase. It's an investment. If the M5 delivers 30 to 40% faster performance, smoother AI workflows, and 25 hours of battery life, the return on investment is huge. Tasks that used to take hours will take minutes. Deadlines will be easier to meet. Creative freedom will expand. In this light, the price makes sense. What makes the M5 MacBook Pro especially interesting is its balance of power and mobility. For years, professionals had to choose between desktop performance and laptop portability. But Apple's silicon blurred that line. With the M1, then the M2, and most recently the M3 and M4, laptops began replacing desktops for many users. The M5 continues this trend. With 8K external display support, Wi-Fi 7, and a massive battery, this machine can replace a desktop setup for most workflows. For some users, it will become their only computer. But Apple also understands that performance alone isn't enough. The user experience has to be seamless. That's where the new Force Touch trackpad, refined keyboard, and gesture tracking come into play. Small details, yes, but they add up to make everyday use smoother and more natural. Imagine moving from scrolling documents to editing photos with hand gestures, or unlocking your Mac with just a glance. These aren't flashy gimmicks. They're steps toward making the machine feel like an extension of the user. Another key area where the M5 will shine is AI integration. The stronger neural engine isn't just a spec line. It represents Apple's future direction. The tech world is shifting toward AI-driven tasks. Language translation, real-time transcription, content generation, advanced photo and video editing, and even coding assistance. Many of these tasks require high computational power. By running them directly on the M5 chip, Apple offers faster results, better privacy, and more independence from cloud servers. This is Apple's subtle way of saying, AI belongs on your device, not only in the cloud. And this ties into competition. Microsoft, Google, and others are heavily investing in cloud AI tools. Apple is taking a different route. It's investing in on-device AI performance. The M5 MacBook Pro is proof of this vision. Instead of sending everything to a server, your laptop itself will process language, translate in real time, recognize objects, or edit images. This approach is more secure, more private, and often faster because it avoids internet bottlenecks. Now, let's zoom out and compare Apple's strategy with its rivals. In late 2025, laptops powered by Intel's latest chips and AMD's Ryzen AI processors will flood the market. These machines will be powerful, but they'll face the same challenge: balancing battery life, heat, and performance. Apple has one major advantage here: tight integration of hardware and software. The M5 MacBook Pro isn't just a laptop with a chip. It's a machine designed from the ground up to use that chip in the most efficient way possible. macOS will be tuned specifically for the M5. That's why Apple consistently delivers longer battery life and smoother performance compared to competitors with similar specs. For developers, this integration means stable tools. For video editors, it means optimized software like Final Cut Pro. For musicians, it means low-latency audio with Logic Pro. For gamers, yes, even gamers, it means better optimization as Apple continues its push into gaming with Metal 3 in game mode. The M5 MacBook Pro could become a surprisingly capable gaming machine, something earlier MacBooks struggled with. But what about durability? Apple knows that professionals push their machines hard. That's why the M5 MacBook Pro's new space titanium finish and refined build matter. Laptops travel in backpacks, endure coffee shop spills, survive airport security, and handle daily wear. A durable body, scratch-resistant coating, and water-repellent glass make sure the machine holds up. Apple's goal is clear: a laptop that lasts not just for one cycle, but for many years. Optional extras will also enhance the experience. Apple will likely offer cases, screen protectors, and maybe even accessories designed specifically for AI or creative workflows. For example, external controllers for editing or new filters for video calls. While third-party companies usually fill this space, Apple often provides its own premium options. Now, let's revisit the battery story. 25 hours of life is a bold claim. But even if real-world use lands slightly lower, it's still the longest battery Apple has ever delivered. Add in MagSafe charging with its safe magnetic connection, and you have a device built for nonstop use. And if you do run out of power, Fast charging through MagSafe or USB-C will quickly get you back to work. This kind of freedom redefines mobility. No more carrying chargers everywhere. No more hunting for outlets at airports. True all-day and maybe even multi-day battery life. The camera system also deserves another look. An 18-megapixel front camera with an f/2.4 aperture and optical zoom sounds more like a smartphone setup than a laptop. This shows Apple's intent. In a world dominated by video calls, streaming, and online collaboration, the MacBook camera is no longer an afterthought. It's a priority. Pair this with Apple's advanced image processing, and users can expect sharper, brighter, more professional-looking video across platforms like Zoom, Teams, or FaceTime. When we put all of this together, we see Apple's broader vision. The M5 MacBook Pro is not just for professionals and studios. It's for students learning code, for YouTubers editing videos, for scientists running simulations, for travelers who need long-lasting power. It's a universal tool, but built at a professional standard. This is why Apple calls it a Pro. It's not only about speed. It's about reliability, precision, and endurance. That's what separates the Pro line from the Air. And with the M5, the gap becomes even clearer. The Air might remain the light, everyday option, but the Pro becomes a powerhouse designed to handle the future of work and creativity. So what does this leave us? The M5 MacBook Pro launches in late 2025, likely October. Prices will start near $1,999, with higher tiers for more RAM and storage. It will feature the M5 2nm chip with 30 to 40% faster CPU performance, stronger GPU power, and an upgraded neural engine. A redesigned, slimmer body with space titanium finish. A new Force Touch trackpad and refined keyboard. A 120Hz mini LED display with promotion. Wi-Fi 7, MagSafe, HDMI, and SD slot for connectivity. Support for 8K external displays. An 18MP front camera with advanced optics. RAM options up to 32 GB. Storage starting at 256 GB SSD and up to 25 hours of battery life. The M5 MacBook Pro represents Apple's vision for the future. A future where laptops are more powerful, more efficient, and more intelligent than ever before. A future where one machine can replace desktops, handle AI locally, and last all day without charging. This is not just another update. This is the machine that could redefine the standard for professional laptops. And once again, Apple is aiming to set the bar that everyone else will chase.